get started tonight. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, good. So if there's any problems, just let me know and I'll look into it. But I think we have it most of the way figured out. Okay, just one more thing. There we go. Okay. So hopefully you can still hear me. Let me know if anything has changed, but I think it should be good. So hopefully everybody has had a great weekend. Great to see everybody again. Thank you so much for coming out to the live stream. And today, what we're doing is lesson ideas for the next few months and, through the holiday season, as well as general updates. One big update I want to give you right off the bat is if you go to lessons, actually piano lessons on the web.com, excuse me, there is actually a holiday weekend deal here, a Black Friday deal on the Academy, which, if you don't know, is all the courses that I've made outside of YouTube. I put a lot of work into these, and you get access to all these really in one subscription package. And right now, until let's see, until 11/28, so tomorrow actually. I'll actually extend it through the end of tomorrow, but if you enroll sometime between today and tomorrow, you'll get a huge discount on that. I just want to let you know that. We'll get right back into what we're talking about today. So, does anybody have any lesson ideas for us? And while you're thinking of those, I just want to let you know we are having our first exclusive live stream next Friday at earlier in the day, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is for Patreon supporters as well as those who are a member of my academy. Again, another great reason to sign up is a new feature is that you will get access to these extra live streams as well as the recordings. I believe it's a rhythm trainer. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make since you probably don't know what that is, I'm going to make a free lesson on YouTube called Rhythm Trainer, and it's really designed to train your rhythm, make your rhythm better. And I'm actually in the process of making a whole entire course based on that. I've been making rhythm trainer courses, note trainers, and chord trainers, all designed to help you get better at these things by practicing them. They'll have examples you can practice every day for a month, and also a little challenge, which you'll find out what that is. But does anybody have any? Oh, that's okay. Welcome back, Jezebel. Great to have everybody with us again. So today we're talking about lesson ideas you might have for the future. So the lessons that I have planned already, if you go to the community page, once again, we have our holiday themed video ideas, which is tonight. Next lesson is how to learn piano chords quickly, not necessarily, um, holiday related, and neither is the next one. But the week after, just starting December 9th, we're going to have great Christmas songs that don't take long to learn. So if you want to get some of these songs ready for the holidays, these will be perfect picks. I'll include links to the sheet music as well. And then we're just going to have a what's new with lessons on the Web Academy. I may change that. Here's the thing is, if you notice, there's a lot of what's new with lessons on the Web Academies. These are the ones that I need to fill up with some of these holiday lesson ideas. Now, I can't take all these ideas, but I do want to know them. And actually, even if they're not holiday related in any way, if you have a suggestion of a lesson I haven't covered yet or something you want to see in more detail, just let me know, either right now or in the comments. Okay, Rich says, I'd like a lesson on special sight reading tips, mainly things that are not usually taught that you've picked up throughout your career. Okay, that sounds great. Let me do this. Okay, so over here, I'm going to write. Now, you might not be able to see this, but don't worry. This is really just for me. So I'm just going to write sight reading. Tips. I don't think I've really made a sight reading tips video for the YouTube channel, so I'll make one that's both an introduction, but also will give you a few tips that I feel are not shared widely that can make you a lot better at sight reading. But yeah, absolutely. Great lesson idea, Rich. What about anybody else? What about you, Avi? What about you, Jezebel? Gail? Anybody else? If not, totally cool with me. Let's see. Okay, so I think while everybody is drumming up some ideas, okay, so whoa, that's new. And actually, another series I can make is Sight Reading Trainer, which I'm kind of doing improv right now. Just kind of coming up with the concept, or not the concept, I have the concept already, but just coming up with the example here. And of course, it is giving me a hard time. What is up with that? There we go. Perfect. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to see if, well, if you're in front of a piano right now. If you're not, get in front of a piano, but if one's too far away, don't worry about it. It's totally fine. You can do this also in the recording later. But basically, what a trainer would do is we would go over the notes first, and then what I would do is I'd press play and see if you can play along. Oh, let me turn it up a little bit for us so we can actually hear what's happening. Actually, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear this, but anyway, when I record it for real, you'll be able to hear what's coming out of the speakers here. And you try to play along with the tablet. Just like that. Obviously, they'd be a little more complicated than that. But really what that's going to do is that's going to not only train your ability to pick out these notes individually, but play them on the spot. So actually with the sight read trainer, now that I think about it, we wouldn't go over the notes first. We would just go on playing the notes as written. With the rhythms, the rhythm one's similar, except it's all based on rhythm. So it's all quarter notes, half notes, whole notes, dotted half notes, all things like that, mixed rhythms and things like that. And really it's going to test your real world ability to be able to play along using these rhythms. That's alright, Avi. Okay, so yeah, so that's just a little preview of what a trainer will be like. There's going to be a lot of these, and like I said, I'm going to make a real lesson on this, so you're really going to see, it in action. Just me writing it out really quick doesn't really do it much justice, but I've used it with some of my students already, and it already has improved their rhythm or whatever we happen to be working on. So look forward to that, and I'll let you know when those courses are ready. It might be a little while because I want to, take my time and make something really worthwhile. So some of the other holiday lessons we're going to do, we're going to learn Jingle Bells on the piano. Now, I have done this lesson before, but I can make a much better lesson because the one I made before was like one of the first years I started doing these lessons. So I can make a much better one, I'm sure. And then there. I need to fill out the schedule a little bit better. Excuse me, because on the 23rd it says classical piano songs for beginners. But now that I remember, we're going to use this lesson and the lesson ideas I get off of this to make some of these future lessons. What kind of Christmas songs do you want? What kind of holiday songs do you want? Do you want something in particular? Even if it's not something here, somebody here in the chat right now, if you're listening to this as a recording, just feel free to let me know in the comments what kind of lessons would you like to see this holiday season, whether they're your favorite songs or just topics like, great Christmas songs that don't take long to learn, which I think will be a great lesson for a lot of people. Okay, Jezebel says a lesson on how to get used to using both hands would also be great as well. Yes, so there's a lesson already on the channel. I don't want to open it up on my tablet here. Oh wait, no, here we go. If you look up on the channel, actually, two-handed piano playing, let me get you a link really quick. So everybody that thinks I have... Can I play Alan Walker Faded? I don't know what that is. Oh, is that by Alan Walker? It's called Faded? I guess I could play that. I'm not sure. I've never played it before. So a lesson on how to get used to playing both hands. So let me send you a link over, as I always like to do, for some extra studying and things like that to get better at piano than ever before. But these are all free lessons I'm giving you here. Here you go. So I'm going to copy this link, send it over to you. There we go. So if you check this out, this video is called Easy Two-Handed Piano Playing Tips and Exercises. Now, I can obviously make a more, not an updated version because I just made that lesson, but I can actually make like a part 2 to that lesson covering some of the topics that I haven't covered before. But yeah, a lesson on how to get used to it. So that might be like a slightly different topic. Let me look into that. If I can make a great lesson idea out of that that's different than the video I already made, I can definitely do that. I know two-handed piano playing, that was actually a really good video. A lot of people like that one. By the way, everybody, if you don't know already, you should follow me on Facebook, not because I told you so like everybody else does, but if I ever have to cancel the live stream or if I have updates on, what's coming out, things like that, you really want to get those, and sometimes YouTube is a little iffy on, updating you on those. So if you go to Facebook and, you show up for the live stream and you're not sure what happened and, there was one scheduled, then check out Facebook because you'll get the update there, or on Twitter. Twitter, I will also make a tweet about it. I've been pretty good at keeping them recently, although, as you know, things do come up, but I do try to make them as consistently as possible because we are all a community learning here, all in the endeavor of hopefully making learning piano a lifelong journey for all of us. So, yeah, so I try to be here as much as I can. But you always want to get those updates. Okay, so if everybody doesn't have, or anybody, sorry, doesn't have any ideas, I think we'll wrap up a little bit early tonight. Let me think if there's any last things I want to tell you. I feel like I've just been plugging things all night, but I do really want you to let you know, and I really want to let you know about over on the website. There's a discount that ends tomorrow. It's the biggest discount of the year, so if you're interested in that sort of thing, check it out and let me know any questions you have, and then sign up and you'll be all set. You can learn a lot more about piano, music theory, all those great things. Same kind of things you learn on the channel, but even a lot of other things that I don't quite as much, like composition. We did a lesson actually last time on writing your first song, but I really get a lot more detail about composition over there, just in case you're looking for something else. But yeah, Alan Walker Faded, I mean, I can, to look at your question again, Avi, I can look at that. Did you want me to make a video on that, or just asking if I can play it? Because I'm not sure. I'm sure I could find it and play it, but I don't want to do that now because YouTube will ban me for life. Well, not really, but they will yell at me for sure. Okay, and then let me elaborate a little bit on Friday's lesson, how to learn piano chords quickly. So this actually would probably be the lesson I would introduce the chord trainer with. So I actually already showed you what that was all about, but it was with chords. I actually have one of the chord trainers here with me, so I can actually show you really quick without having to rewrite everything. So let's see. Chord Trainer 0 here. I have a bunch of these. So really what it's going to do is it's going to walk you through a simple pattern of chords, and they get more complex as you get higher in number. And basically you have to follow along in all your keys. So it's really good at playing common chord patterns found in every key. That's what we cover first, and then we branch out from there. So what you do is, obviously when I record this you'll be able to hear the tablet nice and crisp, but I'll do my best for now. And you just play along with it. I think you get the idea. It goes on for quite a while because it does cover all the keys. So what we're going to do in the next lesson is I'm going to actually give you the printout to this. I have like a PDF document with all these, and then I'll have you practice them, and then we'll see if we can play along with the tablet together. Do you have any new students that you teach in person? Let's see. The last new student I had, I think, was in September, so not recently. It's been 2 months or so since I've started a new student. Yeah, I started 2 new students in September, I believe. One is a little girl who is 6 years old, and another is a boy that's 7, probably almost 8 years old. No, he's 7, who's 7 years old. So some youngins. Nobody a bit older. It's weird because I had some years there where I had a lot more older students, and now I have a lot less of them. I have mostly kids now again. But everybody's doing pretty well. The online teaching is also going well. I have a student that moved from China to Armenia, and he had started he started learning with me. I think he played piano a little bit before that, but he started learning with me, and then he played in front of somebody when he went to Armenia, a teacher or something, and he was really impressed by him. So he took him on as his pupil, and he's really been progressing really well. So it was really cool to at least, help him to get on that path of, because obviously that teacher saw something in him of potential. And actually, a lot of the other teachers he had played for did as well. So it was really cool to have that experience and see him doing so well. And, 2 years ago when we started, he had trouble in the beginning, but he stuck with it, and he's doing great. So it's going pretty well. Oh, where do I live? Oh, I live on the east coast of the United States, so it's getting kind of cold here right now, but not bad. It's been unseasonably warm still. It could be a lot colder, so that's around about where I live. What about you, Avi? Where are you? Any interesting stories with my students? Recently, not really. I went to my high school reunion yesterday, but that's kind of unrelated, but that was fun. And I'm trying to think of any student stories. Nothing crazy. It's been pretty like calm and level recently. From India, okay. I kind of guessed that, but I wasn't entirely sure. When there are a lot of chords in a row, is it required to use the pedals so there's no gap in between? Yeah, generally, Rich, but not. It depends on the context. So, when we're doing the chord trainer, you probably don't really need pedal at all. But if there's like slur lines over the chords, yeah, you do want to connect them and then lift up the pedal and change, like we talked about last time, in between chords. So you almost always want to be lifting up on the pedal between the chords. Who is the most annoying student you've ever had? Don't say me. Uh, oh, man. I don't want to like put anybody down, but let me see if I can describe them without describing them too much. So, some of the, some of the most annoying students aren't really the students. Like some some of the hardest people to teach are the people that are growing up in like a broken family where their parents are divorced and one of the parents wants them to take piano lessons and the other one doesn't. I've come across this quite a few times, and or the one parent wants them to take lessons and the other one's very indifferent. That's very hard to deal with for a lot of reasons because you end up getting in the middle. I talked about this before, and there's obviously a conflict there. In terms of students, who's annoying student? I've had students that were annoying, and then as I've worked with them, it got a lot better, so I don't really consider them annoying. What else? Who would I consider annoying? Like who would I dread? I don't know if I dread anybody. Oh, I had a little girl, within the last couple of years, I would say, who started, and she's fairly young. I think they started her when she was 6, but she had some sort of hyperactivity or something, and I really just couldn't overcome it. And they put a kibosh on the lessons, but I don't really have a problem with it because it just really wasn't working because she was, she just didn't pay attention to me well, and I had a feeling it was kind of the norm. But a lot of students grow out of that, so I wouldn't consider that annoying either. But that's the closest thing I can come up with. But nothing negative about her. I'm just saying it just didn't work out. Avi says, well, today is my live band show at my school, and I play piano. Really great. How did that go for you, Avi? I hope it went well. And then, Shesk, if you are listening, feel free to say hi in the comments. Just seeing if you are still out there. Yo, so does that mean good? I know we say yo here in the States as like a hello kind of thing. You have family that are also musicians, correct? Yeah, I do have family that are also musicians. They aren't professional musicians. I'm the first professional musician in the whole family, I believe that's true, yes. Now, my dad plays guitar, my brother plays guitar, at least he used to. I'm sure he does once in a while. And my sister played piano. In fact, my sister played piano first, and then I took lessons, and then she quit, and then I didn't quit because I don't quit. I'm just kidding. I've quit a few things in my life, but I usually don't quit things. I usually see them out, to the end. There's probably like one or two things in your life you should actually quit, and it's probably impossible at the time to tell if those are the actual things, but for the most part, I try to stick with a lot of my long term kind of goals, but sometimes we don't have a choice but to, kind of adjust. How do you get over nervousness playing in front of people? That's a great question. So how do I get over nervousness? So by doing it more. So play in front of your friends first, work up to people your family and then maybe your friends, and then just anytime you have a chance to play in front of people. And that's how you get better at it. But some other tips that aren't necessarily related to getting better at it is if you are a caffeine drinker, drink half as much caffeine than you normally do on any day that you have to perform. And don't drink caffeine right before you have to perform. Drink it a few hours. Let it kind of get out of your system a little bit because your nerves will take over plenty for you. So the lack of caffeine you won't even notice when you do perform in front of somebody. Also, deep breathing really helps, like a kind of meditative kind of thing, where you just slow your breathing and kind of just relax. That I found that to be very effective. And just pretending like you're playing for yourself or you're just practicing. You know, you probably do some of the best playing while you practice. So just because I don't know if you noticed, at least with me and all my students, we'll practice and then we'll play in front of somebody, and it almost is never quite as good as when you were practicing because when you're practicing, you're relaxed and you're really focused. And when you're playing for somebody, I think we tend to think about a lot of things that are not necessarily in the music at all. So that's just some general advice for you. And then, can you tell about your life? Sure, I can tell you about my life. At least most of it, only because I don't want to be, give away all my personal secrets. But let's see. I was born around where I am now, so I've always been in the Northeast United States, where there are seasons. It gets pretty hot in the summer, it gets pretty cold in the winter, so we experience a little bit of everything here. I got started playing piano because I was playing too many video games growing up. My brother got an original Nintendo when I was really little, like probably younger than 5, and I was addicted from day one. So I played. No, I probably like from 3 years old. So I played it from 3 to like 5 or 6, and then my dad was like sick of it that we were playing video games all the time. So he made us take music lessons. So I chose piano, and the rest is really history from there. I played in recitals every year, and I played in the marching band in high school and did jazz band and things like that. I took music theory. And then I got into college at Westchester University School of Music. I had a really tough time at first, admittedly, because I didn't really work very hard in high school, so it was a big adjustment for me to move into a different environment like that. So, but I did get used to it. By the end, I started to do very, very well. And I mean, obviously, I graduated, so I did pretty. You have to do pretty well. Like you can't get C's and actually pass. They have some kind of, most things you just have to not get an F. But with music school, it's like you can't get a C. If you got a B minus, you could pass. But I obviously did pretty well. I think I graduated like a 3.2, maybe a 3.3, which isn't bad. I graduated grad school, which I went to after. So what happened is I graduated in 2010, almost 7 years ago. Well, it was really 6 years ago because at the end of 2010, the economy wasn't very good at the time. And I started my piano business, and I got one student right away, and then it was like a year before I got another one. And it was just going way too slow. So I went back to grad school for computers, for IT, and I got a 4.0 in that. So I'd obviously progressed as a person by then. I was a lot more responsible. I mean, even though that was right after college anyway. But like I said, at the end of college or university, I was already pretty with it. Like really had to graduate from where I went. Robin is here. Robin, great to see you. Sorry I haven't been emailing you recently, but I've just been busy with everything in the holidays. So hopefully you had a great Thanksgiving. I saw everybody needs to check out Robin's article this week on the website. But great to have you with us. Yeah, yay for dad and yay for you. So thank you very much. And then I'm in marching band now too. Very good. So going on from there, I got into grad school. I finished grad school. What's interesting is by the time I finished with grad school, which took 2 years, the local piano teaching business had really taken off. I think at that time I had 22 students, which isn't bad. I have about 30 now that I drive to locally and that I teach in person. But at the time, 22 was pretty good, and I actually like kind of thought, yeah, I can make this into a living. I just need to keep working at it. There's definitely something to work with here, whereas I didn't see that before. So It's not like I went to grad school for nothing, because I used that information really to make the YouTube channel. A lot of that information came in handy. Not all of it. There were some things I learned, but that's like, you go to school for anything, and some of the stuff you just never use again. That's just the way it is, because they can't really predict what you'll use and what you won't. But I used a lot of that knowledge to create the website and the YouTube channel, and here we are today. I mean, it's been 3 years almost, and it's grown quite a bit. Just the channel and the website, but the channel especially has been doing really well recently. If you ever want to check it out on Social Blade, it's been growing pretty well. There's like a little graph at the bottom, because I took a course over the summer, and and uh, yeah, I took a YouTube course over the summer, and it worked out really well. I'm just reading some of the comments here. The Great Emperor says, "Hello, started watching your videos yesterday. I subbed because you have good tutorials. Thank you very much, The Great Emperor." So thanks. If you ever want to come back to the live stream, feel free. Around the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So whatever 35 minutes ago was for you, that's when we start. Um, and then it's Fridays and Sundays, so we will meet next Friday, just to kind of fill you in since you are new around here. But great to have you. I hope to see you again in the future. Robin says, "I don't know how you drive to 30 students. That's a lot." Yeah, well, Robin. I'm a maniac and work. I have been taking more time off recently. I actually had trouble like getting back into the groove of working for a while. I worked a lot this summer. I worked probably 13 hours a day with all the YouTube stuff I was doing, but it really paid off, so I'm pretty happy about that. And then Rich says, a great follow-up question is, did you ever burn out teaching too many students? Yeah. In fact, every few months I get burnt out like a little bit, where I have to back off a little bit, which is I've been better about doing. So I try not to let myself get burnt out anymore, but it does happen because I really just get so involved in what I'm doing. I really love it, and everybody tells me around me that I should take a break. And sometimes I do, but sometimes I let it go a little too long. And yeah, I get burnt out, but it always comes back. So it's never like something where I'll be burnt out for months or years or anything, or be burnt out for good. You hear about somebody getting burnt out of something and then they just quit. I've never been anywhere close to that. I always, that my passion for it always reignites somehow, some way, whether I'm working on a new project, or I get some nice feedback on something I did, which happens all the time now. I'm pretty spoiled with nice comments from everybody in the community. So it's really great to see, and really glad I can help so many of you out there. Is it difficult working for yourself? Like oh wait, hold on. Like what? Like doing taxes. Taxes, doing the deductions is a pain. Writing out how much I make isn't really that bad. Only because that's really easy information to gather. In terms of the deductions, because right now I am spending. I mean, I think this year I'm going to back off a little bit the spending on the business, because I really have to, and save my house at some point. But TurboTax is a great tool. I use TurboTax. I'm glad Robin had brought that up. But yeah, I use TurboTax as well. It still takes me a long time to move all the deductions in the right category, because depending on whether it's like a utility thing or it's like an office expense, or I have to figure out how I'm going to pay any contractors or anything like that, and what services I use for that, and how to figure that out. So that takes a long time. I'm probably going to start going to a tax person to do it. TurboTax does make it easier. It still does take a long time, but it's certainly way easier than filling out the forms yourself, which, like, the language in those forms is just ridiculous. Even on TurboTax, sometimes it's like, this isn't even English. Like, why didn't they put this in English that I can understand? But, taxes. But I wouldn't say, now I do miss, the only thing I miss about working for somebody else is doing the taxes, because back when I worked for like just one person, I worked for a library for a while. That was the only thing I had to write down. I was like, I just make the money there. I didn't have any deductions because, as you know, if you work W-2 or W-9 or whatever, 1099, I think 1099 you can deduct things, but you can't deduct nearly as much. You can deduct you get a few deductions like the general one, and if you have children and things like that. But in terms of buying things and being able to deduct those for your business, you're very limited unless you do something like what I do. And yeah, that takes up the most time, but TurboTax really does help. Let's see. Let me answer. Let's see. The Great Emperor said, could you do a tutorial on... Oh, you said this. Heffalumps and Woozles from Winnie the Pooh. I'd like to play it for my sister. Okay. I thought you were actually about to say something else, but... That's... That's hard, because tutorials are really hard for me to do. If it's really simple, I could fit it in during a live stream, but the problem is if I start taking requests like this, I'm going to get them. Let me see what I can do. Just give me a second. Let me look up Heffalumps and Woozles. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And sheet music. Let's see how tough it is. If it's something I can whip up really quick, I can do it. Doesn't look too bad, but I can't promise you. So let me write it down. Excuse me. Let me write it down, and it will be highly considered. I'll definitely think about where I can fit this in, but just know I'm pretty limited on this kind of stuff. Only because I want the channel to be centered more around piano lessons, but also because if I start taking a bunch of these requests, I will run out of time to do the actual lessons themselves. But let me write this down for you. So let's see. Let me get this up here for us. How old am I? I am in my late 20s. I'll give you that much. This is random. I started writing my first piece of classical music. It's very exciting. It is. We just made a lesson, the last live stream we did, which I think you attended. I'm not sure, Jezebel, but if you haven't attended our last live stream, the one we did on Friday, which is how to write your first song, I highly recommend you check that out if you haven't already. Okay, this is the not that I obvious. Not that I meant. Not that I really don't. I don't really care if you know how old I am in terms of like oldness. Like I'd say early 30s, just as easily. I don't know. I just don't want the. Like I said, I don't want to let all my secrets out. Okay, this is Now I read that one. Let's see. Oh, and Rich said something. Sorry, everybody. Heffalumps and Woozles. Okay, let me write this down and I'll get to Rich's question. Okay. But my hair, what hair? What are you talking? What hair? I don't have any hair. I have some hair left. I'm not offended. Why would I be offended? Not offended. That's okay. I joke around about my own hair and how I don't have any, but it's okay. So obviously you can tell I'm not super young, but I don't really care how old I look. That's not really why I don't want to tell anybody. Hair gets replaced with wisdom. Hair also gets replaced with free piano lessons on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, and then Rich says, but you were too young to lose. Not really, Avi. My brother lost his hair when he was like in his early 20s. Early 20s. Like late teens, early 20s. I'm not even kidding you. It's a little early, but I don't really care. It's all good. I'd rather have what's up here and a balding head than have a great hair and not be able to do all these things. Okay, let's see here. Oh, Rich says, okay, are you going to upload your performance vid? Yes, someday. And then, what did he ask you? Will you go into business with anybody else? It depends. It really depends. I like doing my own thing right now. It depends on what the opportunity was. If it could expand my reach out to like millions of people, yeah. So long as the terms were good, then I could make a deal. Okay. Avi was shocked by something I said. I'm not sure what though. I'm trying to learn Boogie Woogie on YouTube, but I don't know the chords. That depends. I mean, Boogie Woogie, there's different types of Boogie Woogie. I can make a lesson on Boogie Woogie, but let me write that down just to kind of have it, because somebody might want that. I mean, yourself, obviously, you want it, but there could be others as well. Okay. All right, everybody. It's great chatting with everybody. Avi is still shocked. Oh, you're probably shocked that I said my brother lost his hair when he was like in his late teens. Yeah, well, that's the gene pool. Rich says, or no, Robin says, Rich, what about you? Do you prefer solo or group performing? So I prefer solo. Playing in a group's fun though. It's accurate to say there's no correct sheet music for a song. There will always be differences. Other people playing a particular song, it depends. I know that's not a great answer, but it really does depend. Like if it's from an original Beethoven manuscript, then that's probably the most correct sheet music there is, but his handwriting was impossible to read. So yeah, you're going to have two different versions based on how they interpret it, and it's really impossible to say which one sometimes is the absolute correct one. Now, are there some things some editors add into pieces that shouldn't be there? Yes. Yes, there are. Like sometimes an editor will add in dynamics where there shouldn't be, or something like that, or just some kind of strange error writing down the music. So, yes, there can be. It's hard to determine which one is the most correct, but there are definitely incorrections with what the composer originally intended. It is a totally different experience. So maybe you can find others that are learning too to play with. It's fun and totally different experience. Very true. Oh yeah. It honestly, what I would do is, in that case, if it's a really famous song, look up a famous recording, the one with the most, well, maybe not the most views, but played at like the most well-known venue. So like anywhere, like Carnegie Hall or anywhere, if you see somebody like big name performing somewhere, big professional, and they do it one way, I guess that way could be considered. I'd probably go with that rather than just making educated guesses as to which one to go with. I listen to some professional recordings, and now if there's like a consistency, like everybody does the same thing, then you should probably do that as well. That's just kind of what I do. Avi says we are off topic, but that's okay. All right, it was a great discussion, everybody, tonight. So if you're watching this as a, as a recording, you leave in the comments what you would like to see in future lessons. Remember that you should go over to pianolessonsontheweb.com after this is done and just check out what my online academy is all about. Like I said, there's a special discount that expires at the end of tomorrow. I'll extend it by one day. So if you want to jump on that, feel free. But if not, totally cool with me. We'll meet again next Friday, and then you'll get your video. The video I post on Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the nicely edited version of the live stream we had before. Check that out as well. So those are just some of the things coming in the works. Remember also that we have some exclusive live streams starting next Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Why don't you and Tim have a jam session? That would be interesting. Oh, Maple Leaf by Scott Joplin would be good, but it's pretty difficult. Yeah, so if you're a very beginner, I'm not sure how long you've been playing, outside of my videos, but if you're only in the first few weeks of playing, I wouldn't even attempt to do that one yet. The Maple Leaf Rag, especially the Entertainer, you could probably get first. But even still, I wouldn't learn that right away. Maybe you could learn the Entertainer after a few months or a couple of months, depending on how fast you learn. And then the Maple Leaf, something you would learn maybe a year or two or maybe even 3 down the line. The real version of it. You can probably find an easier one. He has a song that has both violin and piano, 1,000 Miles. I've never played that in my life. But if you sent me the sheet music... Can you play Monody by Fat Rat? I probably could, but I can't right now. I've never played it, though. But I'm sure I could if I had the sheet music. So I don't know. I performed something with Robin. I probably could play it easily. How would that work, though? Probably do a Skype call. Count off the measure we're going to start with, just like if we were playing aside from each other. I'm trying to think if the delay would be a problem, since there is a delay naturally over Skype, a few milliseconds, and the recording software I use as well is off by a few seconds. So I'm not sure how I could record it on my computer. I'd have to test it first to make sure it works. Oh, Rich is on page 4 of Moonlight Sonata. I think we could do it, but I would have to figure out. I kind of need to be in person and connect. Never jammed via online before. Well, you could, I guess. I think we could figure it out, but it would be kind of strange. You should sleep now. You look tired. Yeah. It's been a long... actually, like I said, I went to my high school reunion yesterday, and I was like all keyed up from that. I didn't get back too late. I got back probably around like 10 o'clock, but I've just been tired all day. Yeah, Robin, we'll think about that. Now that Avi said I look tired, I feel tired. Like all of a sudden it hit me. Rich will be finished Moonlight Sonata in 6 months, and Robin is open to it. So yeah, let me think about that. Let me think if there has to be a way to do that. I'm gonna practice it with my one student that I have that I teach over Skype. He's actually the one from Armenia, and I think we could figure it out. Don't leave. Oh, man. I'll stay for another few minutes. Here, you guys can talk, and I'll just, go to bed. Okay, not just me, but with the symphony I play with, yes, or YouTube, on YouTube. I would like to see that sometime. Yeah, we should do another Skype call. I keep forgetting when I do the. Let me write this down. I keep forgetting when I do the lesson ideas to build a lesson around that. Oh, Rich has a million questions. Okay. Well, if you have, like, that would be a good idea then. Okay, so to wrap everything up, sorry, Rich, but I am going to wrap it up here. It is almost an hour anyway. So we will meet again on Friday for a chord training kind of thing on how to learn chords, a bit faster. I'll have some tips in there for you as well as the chord trainer. Rich will think about doing a Skype lesson and like what to do that on. He has a million questions. I like to actually hear you do a Skype call with a different student. I could do that. Can I teach you how to read music on Skype? Yeah, I can do that, but I will have to charge for that. I mean, I could probably give you a short lesson for free, maybe like 10, 15 minutes to get you on the right track, Avi. My Skype is just lessons on the web. So probably what I would do is if you are on Skype and you want to message me, you like want to add me as a contact, don't just hit add as a contact. I mean, you can do that, but also put like a message in the chat saying who you are and that you're from YouTube. Just because I get a lot of bots on Skype that aren't even real people, and sometimes I think there's somebody legitimately trying to get in contact with me, and I've like ignore them because I think they're a bot. Because sometimes you can tell by their name, but sometimes not. So just remember that. So yeah, I definitely could teach you that over Skype. But like I said, if it's gonna be like a full lesson, half hour lesson, or if you want a few of them, we'll have to work out a kind of payment plan for that. But if you want to contact me over Skype, just leave me a little message, type it in, or even leave me a video message by calling and leaving a message or a call message. That would be fine too. Just tell me, who you are, when is maybe a good time to get back to you, or, But yeah, just get in contact with me, and I'm sure we can work it out. All right, everybody, I am gonna head out. Thanks for all the advice, Tim. I'm gonna keep practicing for a few more hours. That's really great, Rich. So I'm glad you're sticking with it. It's really nice to see, and I'll see what I can do about a Skype lesson, maybe like a Skype chat. I mean, during the live stream with somebody else. If you're interested in doing that, let me know in the comments, or show up to the next live stream and just let me know, and that would be great. All right, everybody, I am going to head out for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I hope everybody had a great holiday weekend, and I'll see you next Friday, ready to go, ready to teach more piano, because it's all about teaching people all around the world piano and music. And if you want to join in with that with me, keep studying, keep showing up to the live streams, keep chatting with me through the comments. I love it all. So thanks as always, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week. All right, good.